Hi guys, welcome back to another video. In case you're new here, I'm Felicia, and here on my channel, my goal is to create an environment where individuals are inspired to create a life that they truly love. This is the fourth video in our series on finding happiness, and in today's video, I'll share with you how I found my happiness after divorce. I'll also bring you guys behind the scenes with me into Tuesday morning's workout. Ladies, please note, we're not in the gym because I think that you should start working out. The creative side of me wanted to record a voiceover on top of a workout because my thought process was that for me, walking away from a person that I had been with for half my life is by far the hardest thing I've ever had to do. Kind of like this workout. So let's just get into it. First, I like to admit that I'm a little bit of an overachiever, and I'm okay with that because it served me well in my life. In school, I studied hard and graduated second in my class. In sports, I worked hard, always earning a starting position. In the military, I ran longer and faster until I earned my spot in the A running group with the guys within 2 weeks. Everything I was taught about working hard and putting in the work to achieve optimal results, it proved to be right. You know, the magic formula, it worked for everything. That is, except for in my first marriage. The last 4.5 years of it, things just began to spiral. I found myself in such an unfamiliar place. I was sad often, I cried a lot, and for the first time in my life, I was able to identify that I had a strong fear of failure. So I stayed. I worked harder, I prayed harder, and at the time, I did everything I thought was possible within my power to make things better. A few events occurred within the last year and a half, and like a light switch, I knew that that was the end. I knew that I would soon become a single mom. I knew that for the first time, I would truly face, air quotes, failure. At that time, I feared what my family would think, what my church would think. Heck, I couldn't even control the crappy thoughts that I thought about myself. But through journaling, lots of prayer, and good counsel, the truth of the matter is that I began to find myself again even before I left. I can't speak for all circumstances, but emotionally, I had checked out about 1.5 years before leaving. Being able to physically leave, now that was the hard part. Y'all, I wish I could paint a pretty picture and just break this down into 4 simple steps, but divorce is hard. For me, it felt like death, and I'm not even exaggerating. Everything that I thought my life was or would be, it was over. Keep in mind that I'm sharing this journey with you, just a few years shy of a decade from when this happened. So if any of you are watching this video today, or even 5 years from now, I promise you that your days will be better. But if you're having a hard time today, please know that is completely normal. My journey back to happy began with letting go of what I thought my life would be. This is so important, otherwise you'll just find yourself stuck. Next, I ignored the criticism. There's 3 parts to every story, so not only did I ignore the criticism, but I also didn't contribute to it. I won't say that it didn't hurt. I mean, accusations of leaving for another man. Oh my gosh, I don't know many women that do this at all. Actually, I don't even know one woman that does that. To me, that's like such a guy thing. Women don't leave. Well, I can't speak for everyone. I didn't leave for another man. I left because I wasn't happy. And the fact that that just wasn't good enough kind of rocked my boat a little bit. But whatever. Anyways, you know what else was hard? Going to church. Yeah, going to a church where you once attended as a family, and now here you are as a single mom. that was pretty hard. Also, going on vacation to nice resorts, I would just be chilling at the pool with my kid, and then someone would float up and be like, what does your husband do? That was very awkward and pretty difficult. The third thing that I did was I started to find stability. I had to create a new normal for my daughter and I. I have a friend that's a psychologist, and she advised me to do everything that I could to keep my daughter's life as stable as I possibly could. And I did just that. Yes, I may have had to work harder, but I kept her in the same home, same school, and extracurriculars. And I know that this may not be possible for everyone, which is why instead of giving you specific steps, I'm just sharing with you my story and the things that helped me. The fourth thing I did was to create a new normal for myself. At that time, I was teaching spin classes on Tuesday mornings at 5 a.m. So I would take my daughter with me, put her in the kids club where she would sleep for another hour, and then we would get dressed for school and work, head to breakfast, have breakfast together at Panera's, and then I would take her to school and I would go to work. Looking back at it, and even just saying that, it sounds like the craziest thing ever. But hey, it became our new normal, and we made the best out of it. The fifth thing that I did was I allowed myself to be vulnerable. Prior to this, I had a really hard time accepting help. Ladies, I encourage you, during difficult times, when you're ready, squat up. By this, the fifth thing that I did was allow myself to be vulnerable. Prior to this, I had a really hard time accepting help. Ladies, I encourage you during difficult times, when you're ready, squat up. And by this, I mean build your inner circle with spiritual leaders, family, friends, counselors, or even coaches. I did not make it through this alone. You will need people in your life that will remind you of who you are, how strong you are, and how loved you are. You will need people that will remind you that you were created for purpose. That leads me to my final step. And truly, I believe this is an ongoing process within the journey. I had to reinvent myself. I had to figure out who the heck I was. After a long-term relationship, part of your identity is just stripped away. I had to figure out what was it that I wanted for my life and for my kids' life. I'm a big-time planner. I have goals for 5 and 10 years from now. So I remember praying. Now that I say that, it seems like it was such a silly prayer, but I do remember praying, and I was just telling God that I needed direction and I needed fast, because the unknown at the time, it was a little scary. So I started to focus more on my career, my emotional and physical health. Not to get all deep on you, but there's a lot of trauma that builds up within your body through years of suppressing your happiness, and I had to deal with that. I have done a lot of hard work to identify areas where my mindset around relationships, money, family, my self-worth, they all had to shift. And if there's anything that I would recommend out of all that I've said so far, it would be this. Otherwise, you'll find yourself attracting the same things and the same type of people all over again. So yeah, that's it. This is definitely a longer video, and it's also pretty private for me. But if this can help one woman, then for me, it was truly worth it. Also, I just want to add one thing to the end of this video by saying that in no way are my intentions to bash my daughter's father. We're not friends, and we haven't seen him in years, but when it comes to their relationship, when that time comes for it to be restored, the last thing that I want is some silly video surfacing the internet with a bunch of negativity. We don't speak negatively of him because I truly feel that that type of energy benefits no one. I created my channel to be an uplifting place of inspiration, and even with the most difficult and the most hardest topics, we will focus on how to change and better ourselves, because that's truly all we really have the power to do. So be encouraged and be inspired, and I'll see you in the next video.